There's this invisible version of you out there online. An echo, really, built from every single click and search you've ever made. You've never actually seen it, but it follows you absolutely everywhere. Today, we're going to meet that digital twin.
It's that spooky, specific feeling, right? You just think about needing a new blender, and suddenly your entire internet experience is just a nonstop parade of kitchen appliances. Is it a coincidence? Or is it something else?
Well, those ads, they're not the real magic. They're just the result of it. The real work is happening way deeper, behind the screen. To really get what's going on, we first have to meet your reflection. And no, not the one you see in the mirror every morning, but the one that exists purely as data. Just think about it for a second. Every song you skip, every goofy late-night search, every single place you go with your phone in your pocket, it's all just another brushstroke on this living, breathing portrait of you. It's your data doppelganger, and it is constantly learning what makes you, you. So what's the whole point of having this data doppelganger anyway? Well, it's not just some scrapbook of your past. It's actually the raw material for an incredibly powerful prediction machine. And this is where things get really, really interesting. This whole system isn't just about logging what you've already done. It's about making a very calculated bet on what you're going to do next. Let's try to put this into perspective with a medical example. So one kind of AI can look at a medical scan and say, okay, this person currently has cancer. That's descriptive, right? It's describing the now. But predictive analytics, that takes it a huge step forward. It looks at thousands of data points and says, this person is at a high risk of developing cancer down the road. One describes the present, the other tries to predict the future. All right, I know, predicting diseases is pretty heavy stuff, so let's bring it back down to earth and see how this very same prediction machine works in a space that's probably a lot more familiar to all of us. Believe it or not, your music streaming service is one of the most sophisticated, yet totally low-stakes examples of a predictive system you interact with literally every single day. I absolutely love this quote because it just nails how developers think about this whole thing. They don't just see a boring list of songs, no, they see this vast, explorable landscape of music, a whole world. So the problem they're trying to solve is this. With access to this celestial jukebox of pretty much every song ever recorded, we're hit with total information overload. The solution? Algorithms that filter out all the noise. But here's the kicker. Their real goal isn't just accuracy, it's captivation. It's not about finding that one perfect song you'll like. It's about making sure you never, ever want to stop listening. So you can really think of these algorithms as your personal tour guide, leading you on these little journeys through that whole musical space. Sometimes they take you to your favorite familiar spots, and other times they show you something brand new that they predict you're going to absolutely love. But, and this is a huge but, music is one thing. The stakes are pretty low, right? So the really crucial question is, what happens when we apply that exact same predictive logic to systems that can totally, fundamentally alter someone's life? Yeah, let's pivot from choosing a song to deciding someone's freedom, from predicting your next favorite band to predicting your likelihood of committing a crime in the future. The stakes just got a whole lot higher. Because here's the thing, when you start boiling down complex, messy human beings into cold, hard numbers, you eventually have to draw a line in the sand. And sometimes that line can be completely and utterly arbitrary. Let me give you a real-world example from the justice system. A test was being used to predict a prisoner's future risk. The cutoff score for being labeled a psychopath was 30. One prisoner scored a 29. Now, another prisoner in the exact same situation takes the exact same test and scores a 31, just 2 points higher. And this right here, this is what's so incredibly dangerous. The person who scored a 29 was released from prison. The person who scored a 31 was deemed a psychopath, and their sentence was extended. Now, is there any real, meaningful human difference between a 29 and a 31 on this test? Almost certainly not. But the outcome, it's literally night and day. This is the arbitrary use of power, all hidden behind this shiny veneer of scientific precision. This single example just perfectly reveals the core dangers of what some researchers are now calling predatory predictions. They can lead to these penalizing treatments, like a longer prison sentence. They can chip away at people's rights, or just place these heavy, extra burdens on them. And the whole thing happens under this illusion of mathematical certainty that just hides how imprecise and, frankly, biased these decisions can really be. So where does this all leave us? How does this whole thing circle back to you and that digital echo we talked about at the very beginning? Okay, so there's this really cool idea that your identity isn't some fixed, static thing, right? It's a process. You are always constantly becoming who you are, and you're shaped by every single interaction you have with the world and with the people, and yes, the algorithms in it. And that right there is the most profound, maybe even unsettling part of all of this. That data doppelganger, your digital twin, it's not just a passive reflection. The recommendations it serves you, the information it decides to show you, the path it lays out for you, that is an interaction. It is actively participating in the process of you becoming you. So here we are, living with this echo, this digital ghost built from our own data, which then turns around and whispers back to us, influencing our very next move. Which really leaves us with one final, critical question to think about. Is this digital version of you a helpful mirror, one that reflects your tastes and helps you discover amazing new things? Or is it slowly, quietly, building a cage around you, subtly limiting your choices and just reinforcing who you've always been, maybe at the expense of who you might one day become?